Next topic, Flex Robotic. Can you include a JS file from the Niagara Station file system? I've written a lot of modules, but I've always had all of my JS embedded within the module. I have a requirement for a JS file to exist in the station file system so that it can be customized. My normal define section would include something like module/corx/rc/techstandard/techWidgetWindow/techOperations to include a techOperations.js file. Is there a way to define this to point to the station's file system? JJDaBoss's Lowrider Tech Breakdown, JS File Inclusion in Niagara II. Listen up, plies JJDaBoss here, and we bout to school ya on including JS files from the Niagara Station file system like we tune a 64 Impala with a compressed air supercharger system. Strap in, cause the 4 chicas are riding shotgun to break it down proper. The ride, your Niagara Station as a lowrider Impala. This ain't no stock setup. Your Niagara Station is a high-performance beast with compressed air supercharger, equals your module system, forces code where it needs to go, airbag suspension equals your file system, keeps things smooth and flexible. Here's who's riding where: Alice, your JS file, ride-in shotgun, the brain of your module, trying to figure out how do I get loaded from the station file system instead of being embedded. Mad Hatter, your module definition, in the backseat, sippin' tea like module paths. File system paths. Why not both? Cheshire Cat, the tricky path resolution, grinning on the dashboard, flickering between can't find file. Teehee. White Rabbit, your urgent deadline, freaking out in the trunk, screamin' I'm late. I'm late. This needs to be customizable. The problem, embedded JS ain't cuttin' it. You got a techOperations.js file that needs to live in the station file system so users can tweak it without rebuilding the module. But normally, Niagara expects JS files to be baked into the module path. Current setup, define module/corx/rc/techstandard/techWidgetWindow/techOperations, function, ops, /**// that's like hardwiring your Impala's fuel line. No flexibility. The fix, pointing to the station file system. Option 1, use station/path, if your station allows it. Some Niagara setups let you reference files directly from the station dir. Define, station/path/to/techOperations.js, function, ops, // now it loads from station file system. Like routing your supercharger's boost through an external tank. Customizable. But, not all stations allow this, security settings may block it. Option 2, serve JS via HTTP, web server in station, drop the JS file in station/www/ or a custom web accessible folder. Reference it via URL, define, http://localhost/station/www/techoperations.js, function, ops, /*/, like mounting a nitrous bottle outside the trunk. Easy access for tweaks. Option 3, dynamic load via Niagara service. Create a Niagara service that reads the JS file from station/ and serves it as a module. Reference it via custom path, define, module/myservice/get-techOperations, function, ops, /*/. This is like having a pit crew service hand you the right fuel mix on demand. Pro tips from JJDaBoss: check permissions. The station file system might lock down access. Ain't no good having a fuel line if the hood's welded shut. Fallback plan, embed a default JS in your module, but override it if the station file exists. Log errors, if the file's missing, log it. Don't let the Cheshire Cat's grin be the only clue something's wrong. Final answer: yes, you can include JS from the station file system. But like tuning a lowrider, the method depends on your setup. Try station/paths first. Fall back to HTTP or a custom service if needed. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta bounce this Impala to the next tech call. Keep it clean, keep it mean, and for Wonderland's sake let users customize that JS. Visualize, JJ leanin' on a code-painted Impala, Alice holdin' a JS file, the Hatter mixin' paths, and the White Rabbit sweatin' over a missing file error. PS if all else fails, sacrifice a USB drive to the Niagara gods and try again. Sometimes Wonderland just works like that. Alice's curious JavaScript adventure in Niagara Wonderland. One ordinary afternoon, Alice was programming her Niagara station when, poof. She fell right through her keyboard into JavaScript Wonderland, where files disappear and paths change like the Cheshire Cat's grin. Oh my ears and whiskers, cried Alice. My techoperations.js file keeps vanishing. However will users customize it? The Mad Hatter's path party. At a wobbly table sat the Mad Hatter, pouring code from one teacup to another. Ha, he cackled. You want station/path? Module/path? Why not both? He threw file paths at Alice like playing cards. The Cheshire Cat appeared upside down, his grin flashing 404, file not found. Teehee, before vanishing, leaving only a broken require statement floating in the air. The White Rabbit's deadline panic. Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm late for deployment, screamed the White Rabbit, tripping over JavaScript bundles. The Queen said this must be customizable by tea time or off with our documentation. The Queen of Hearts decree all JavaScript shall be editable, bellowed the Queen, whacking a server with her flamingo. Or I'll have your permissions for croquet. Alice's investigation down the module rabbit hole. Alice found 3 doors labeled, module/ too rigid, station/ just right. http:// too unpredictable, but which one leads to customizable JS, she wondered. The caterpillar's wisdom. A sleepy caterpillar on a server blew smoke rings that formed file paths. AIAR, YOU, in the file system, he asked mysteriously. Tweedledee and Tweedledum security mess. The twins were adjusting file permissions randomly. We're helping, they lied, as more permission errors appeared. How Alice fixed it. Drank the station/path potion. She tried loading from station/js/techoperations.js. It works. Like finding a cookie that actually makes you grow. Ate the HTTP server cake. When permissions failed, she served files via web. Now everyone can edit them, even the dormoos. Played croquet with the Queen. Showed her the fallback service loader. These solutions actually work, grumbled the Queen. The happy ending with the JavaScript now customizable, the White Rabbit deployed on time. The Hatter could change code without rebuilding. Even the Jabberwocky's custom scripts worked. As Alice woke at her desk, she saw, JS successfully loaded from station file system. The end. Unless someone changes the permissions, then we're back to Wonderland chaos. Silly pictures, Alice shrinking/growing between file paths, the caterpillar blowing permission smoke rings, the Queen whacking a server with a flamingo, and the Cheshire Cat as a 404 error. Kiosk mode, cert login, timeout. I set up a customer's client to login using Chrome and certificate login, the login is working as intended. When we open the page, there's a button for login using cert, we press remember my choice and press the button. Client logs in. The user it's set up to use is one with no timeout, and the no timeout is working in Workbench, it never closes down. However, the web client gets logged out every 30 to 60 minutes, even if we use a Chrome plugin to auto-refresh the website every minute, it always ends up logged out. When it logs out, I'm back to the login screen where I can press the cert login button. Any ideas to what goes wrong or how to fix it? 1. JJ Da Boss's Lowrider Tech Clinic, Kiosk Mode Certificate Timeout Blues. Listen up, plies. JJ Da Boss here, and we bout to diagnose this kiosk timeout issue like a mechanic tracing a vacuum leak in a 64 Impala with a compressed air supercharger system. Let's pop the hood with my 4 Chicas ride-in shotgun to break it down proper. The ride, your kiosk system as a lowrider Impala. This ain't no stock setup. Your kiosk system is a high-performance machine with compressed air supercharger, CA, equals your cert login, forces authentication when you need it, airbag suspension equals your session management, should keep things smooth and stable. Here's who's ride and where. Alice, your cert login, location, driver seat, where the action starts, situation, I pressed remember my choice but they keep forgetting me. Mad Hatter, your session settings, location, back seat, messing with timeouts, situation, no timeout in Workbench? 30 to 60 minute timeout in browser? Why not both? Cheshire Cat, the mysterious logout, location, glowing on the dashboard situation, poof session expired, teehee, disappears White Rabbit, your auto refresh plugin, location, freaking out in the trunk situation, I'm refreshing. I'm refreshing. Why are we still logging out? The problem, session keep alive ain't keeping alive. Your CA supercharger, cert login, is working fine, but the airbag suspension, session management, keeps deflating. Even with, remember my choice selected no timeout in Workbench auto refresh plugin running, that session still dies faster than a lowrider with flat hydraulics. The fix, 3 ways to keep your session rollin'. Option 1, check the session timeout settings like adjusting your airbag pressure. Look for hidden timeout settings in Niagara. Properties, might have separate web timeouts, Chrome policies, enterprise settings might override, kiosk mode configurations. Option 2, cookie tuning like dialing in your fuel mixture. Try adding these to your Chrome launch flags. Test type disable session crashed bubble disable infobars no first run. Disable restore session state. Option 3, Niagara service tweaks like upgrading your supercharger belt. Create a custom auth service that extends session lifetime, ignores browser inactivity if auto refresh is running, logs why sessions drop, check wb.log. Pro tips from JJ Boss: check the Chrome DevTools console, might be silent errors killing your session. Try a different browser. Firefox ESR often plays nicer with kiosk modes. Watch for certificate expiry, even remembered logins. Fail if the cert blinks out. Final answer ain't no lowrider smooth if your airbags keep deflating. Most likely, Niagara's web session timeout is overriding Workbench settings. Chrome is helping by dropping sessions it thinks are idle. Some security policy is cutting the connection. Now if you'll excuse me, I gotta bounce this Impala to the next tech call. Keep it clean, keep it mean, and for Wonderland's sake check those session settings. Visualize, JJ leanin' on a kiosk painted Impala, Alice frustrated with a disappearing login, the Hatter mixing timeout settings, and the White Rabbit hammering the refresh button. P.S. If all else fails, sacrifice a USB drive to the IT gods and try itch. Sometimes Wonderland just works like that. 2. Alice's Curious Kiosk Adventure in Timeout Wonderland. One ordinary afternoon, Alice was setting up a kiosk when, poof, she fell through the certificate login screen into Timeout Wonderland, where sessions disappear faster than the Cheshire Cat. Oh my ears and whiskers, cried Alice. I clicked remember me but it keeps forgetting. How curiouser and curiouser. The Mad Hatter's tea party of timeouts. At a wobbly table sat the Mad Hatter, pouring tea into broken hourglasses. Ha, he cackled. 30 minutes? 60 minutes? Why not no minutes? He threw session cookies at Alice like playing cards. The Cheshire Cat appeared upside down, his grin flashing. Your session has expired, teehee, before vanishing, leaving only a login button floating in midair. The White Rabbit's panic. Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm late to refresh, screamed the White Rabbit, tripping over Chrome extensions. The auto refresh is running but we keep logging out. The Queen will have our heads. The Queen of Hearts decree stay logged in or off with your sessions, bellowed the Queen, smashing a keyboard with her flamingo croquet mallet. Alice's investigation down the rabbit hole of settings. Alice found 3 mysterious doors labeled, Workbench, never logs out, browser, logs out constantly. Why not both? Broken, the caterpillar's wisdom. A sleepy caterpillar on a server. Blue smoke rings that form timeout messages. Really, authenticated. Tweedledee and Tweedledum's refresh game. The twins were playing auto refresh tag but kept getting logged out. We're helping, they lied as more error messages appeared. How Alice fixed it. Drank the Chrome flags potion. Added magic words to Chrome. No first run. Disable session. Crashed bubble. Now it remembers me like the Dormouse remembers tea time. 8. The session cookie cake. Found hidden timeout settings in Niagara.properties and changed. Web.session.timeout equals 86400. Now sessions last longer than the Hatter's tea party. Played croquet with the Queen. Showed her the custom auth service that keeps sessions alive. Ignores browser inactivity. Logs all mysterious logouts. This actually works, grumbled the Queen. The happy ending with the kiosk now working properly. The White Rabbit stopped panicking. The Cheshire Cat couldn't log out unexpectedly. Even the Jabberwocky could use it without issues. As Alice woke at her desk, she saw, user session, 23 hours 59 minutes remaining. The end. Unless someone clears the browser cache, then we're back to Wonderland chaos. Silly pictures, Alice shrinking/growing between timeout settings, the caterpillar blowing session smoke rings, the Queen smashing a logout button, and the White Rabbit trapped in a refresh loop. Next topic. Flex Robotic. How can I make a today and yesterday comparison chart using series transform? How can I make a today and yesterday comparison chart, either in bar or line chart format, using series transform or any other method, and without using any paid add-on or Niagara Analytics module? Thanks in advance. JJ Boss's Lowrider Data Dashboard, Today vs Yesterday Showdown. Listen up plies. JJ Boss here to school ya on making a slick Today vs Yesterday chart using just series transform, no fancy paid modules needed. We gonna build this like a 64 Impala with a compressed air supercharger, data system simple but powerful. Let's ride with my 4 chicas breaking it down. The ride, your chart as a lowrider Impala. This dashboard's got, compressed air supercharger, equals series transform, forces data where it needs to go. Airbag suspension equals your historical buffer, keeps the ride smooth between days. Here's who's riding where, Alice, your live data. Location, driver seat, fresh new numbers. Situation, I'm today's data, but where's yesterday for comparison? Mad Hatter, series transform logic. Location, backseat, mixing time like tea. Situation, 24-hour offset. 1 day delay. Why not both? Cheshire Cat, the time shift magic. Location, glowing on dashboard. Situation, poof, now you see yesterday's data, teehee. White Rabbit, your deadline. Location, freaking out in trunk. Situation, I'm late. Just show me the comparison chart already. The build, step by step under the hood. Buffer your history, like airbag suspension, add a history buffer to your live point. Set buffer size to at least 48 hours, 24 hours data plus 24 hours transform play, series transform setup, supercharger boost, JavaScript / today series, direct feed, out 0 equals value, / yesterday series, 24HR shifted, out 1 equals history.at, now 24H, okay, so this little chunk of code is doing 2 simple but useful things with data. First line, the today series, it's taking whatever current value we have and piping it straight through to the output. This is our live, right now data feed. Asterisk the second line, the yesterday series, is where it gets clever. We're looking back in time by exactly 24 hours. The history.at, now 24H, part is basically saying, go into our historical data, find what the value was at this exact same time yesterday, and give me that number. Asterisk so in practice, you'd end up with 2 parallel data streams, one showing what's happening right now, and another showing what happened at the same time yesterday. Super handy for spotting patterns or comparing current performance to historical norms. Chart configuration, pimp my graph, use a multi-series line or bar chart. Series 1, today, color, fire engine red. Series 2, yesterday, color, midnight blue. Pro tip, add now 24H to yesterday's legend for clarity. Dashboard Polish, hydraulic finish, add time axis labels that show today/yesterday. Set y-axis to fixed scale if direct comparison needed. Optional, add % difference as third. Series pro tips from JJ Boss, history buffer size matters, make sure it's bigger than your comparison window. Watch your time zones, nothing worse than data shift in like bad wheel alignment. Null value handling, use operators to handle missing history cleanly. Final product ain't no dashboard complete without that day-to-day smoke show. You'll get, live today line, peaky like a supercharger, ghosted yesterday line, smooth like airbag ride, all without nickel and diminutive paid modules. Now if you'll excuse me, I gotta bounce this Impala to the next data visualization. Keep it clean, keep it mean, and for Wonderland's sake label those axes. Visualize, JJ leanin' on a chart painted Impala, Alice holdin' fresh data, the Hatter mixing time shifts, and the White Rabbit hammering the refresh button. PS if the chart looks wobbly, sacrifice a USB drive to the data gods and check your buffer sizes. Sometimes Wonderland just works like that. Alice's Curious Chart Adventure in Data Wonderland. One ordinary afternoon, Alice was staring at her Niagara station when, poof, she fell through her computer screen into Chart Wonderland, where data points grow and shrink like magic mushrooms. Oh my ears and whiskers, cried Alice. However will I compare today and yesterday? Everything keeps changing size. The Mad Hatter's tea party of time. At a wobbly table sat the Mad Hatter, pouring data from one teacup to another. Ha, he cackled. Today's numbers? Yesterday's numbers? Why not both in one chart? He threw timestamps at Alice like playing cards. The Cheshire Cat appeared upside down, his grin flashing series transform, teehee, before vanishing, leaving only a JavaScript function floating in midair. The White Rabbit's deadline panic. Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm late to show the report, screamed the White Rabbit, tripping over y-axis labels. The Queen wants her comparison by tea time or off with my dashboard access. The Queen of Hearts decree show me the comparison or off with your chart privileges, bellowed the Queen, smashing a pie chart with her flamingo croquet mallet. Alice's data investigation down the history buffer rabbit hole. Alice found 3 mysterious doors labeled, 24-hour buffer, too small, 48-hour buffer, just right. Infinite buffer, made her station crash, the caterpillar's wisdom. A sleepy caterpillar on a server. Blue smoke rings that form timestamps. Yo, comparing, to. Tweedledee and Tweedledum's color disaster. The twins were painting chart lines identical colors. We're helping, they lied as everyone got confused. How Alice built her chart. Drank the history buffer potion, made her history storage big enough for 2 days. Now I won't lose data like the Dormouse loses teacups. Ate the series transform cake. JavaScript / today's delicious data out 0 equals value, / yesterday's leftovers out 1 equals history. At, now 24H, alright, check this out, we're cooking with data here, and I've got 2 tasty outputs for you. Asterisk first up, today's fresh, hot data straight off the grill. This line right here, out 0 equals value, that's like our daily special. Whatever value just came in. Boom, goes right into output slot 0. No fuss, no waiting. Asterisk now this second line, that's yesterday's leftovers, but in a good way. Think of it like meal prep. History. At, now 24H, we're digging into our data fridge, pulling out what we recorded exactly 24 hours ago. Same time, different day. Perfect for comparing if today's special tastes better than yesterday's version. Asterisk so we've got 2 plates served up, one with whatever's happening right now, and one with what happened this time yesterday. Simple, but super useful when you want to spot if something's changed or stayed the same. Now I see both days like the hatter sees both sides of a watch. Played croquet with the queen, showed her the beautiful two-color chart, added clear today/yesterday labels. Humph. This actually makes sense, grumbled the queen. The happy ending with the chart now working perfectly. The white rabbit presented on time, the Cheshire Cat's data stopped disappearing, even the Jabberwocky could understand the comparison. As Alice woke at her desk, she saw, beautiful today vs yesterday comparison chart, complete. The end. Unless someone changes the time zone settings, then we're back to Wonderland chaos. Silly pictures, Alice growing/shrinking between chart lines, the caterpillar blowing timestamp smoke rings, the queen smashing bad charts, and the white rabbit trapped in a refresh loop. Next topic, Flex Robotic. Can you display source object description in alarm message? Currently I have a numeric named active fault. In the alarm message defined by to off normal text I am doing the following: %alarm data.source name %alarm data.alarm value %. Is there a way to display the source object description here also? 1. JJ de Boss's Lowrider Alarm Clinic, show in source descriptions in style II. Listen up plies, JJ de Boss here to school ya on pimpin' out your alarm messages with source descriptions, like addin' candy paint to a 64 Impala with a compressed air supercharger, alarm system. Let's pop the hood with my 4 Chicas ride-in shotgun to break it down proper. The ride, your alarm system as a lowrider Impala. This ain't no basic alarm, your setup's got compressed air supercharger, equals alarm service, forces notifications when needed, airbag suspension equals your message formatting, keeps things smooth and informative. Here's who's ride-in where: Alice, your active fault point, location, driver seat, where the action starts, situation, I'm triggering alarms but nobody knows what I really do. Mad Hatter, alarm message logic, location, backseat, mixing message ingredients, situation, %source name %, alarm value %. Why not %description %2? Cheshire Cat, the hidden description, location, glowing on dashboard situation, poof, you want my description? Teehee, vanishes white rabbit, your urgent need, location, freaking out in trunk situation, I'm late. Just show the damn description already. The fix, DISP laying that sweet description. Method 1, the direct approach: if you got access, %alarm data.source name %alarm data.source.description %alarm data.alarm value %, like adding a vanity plate to your ride. Simple but effective. But wait. The Cheshire Cat might hide source.description in some Niagara versions. Method 2, the workaround: when direct fails, create a slot in your fault point, add a description slot to your active fault numeric, populate it with your object's description, update alarm message, %alarm data.source name %alarm data.source.slots.description %alarm data.alarm value %. This is like installing a backup camera when your mirrors ain't enough. Method 3, the baller move, using BQL, for Niagara 4.8 plus warriors, / in your alarm message script var desk equals alarm data.source.remote invoke, BQL select description, return alarm data.source name plus desk plus alarm data.alarm value. Now we talk in turbocharged descriptions. Pro tips from JJ de Boss: check your Niagara version. Older versions hide descriptions, like the Cheshire Cat hides his body fallback plan. Use operator, %alarm data.source.description no description, %watch them nulls. Nothing worse than a broken alarm message ruining your dashboard's clean look. Final answer: ain't no alarm complete without knowing what's actually alarming yet. Use either the direct %alarm data.source.description if available, the slot workaround for guaranteed results, the BQL method if you're feeling fancy. Now if you'll excuse me, I gotta bounce this Impala to the next alarm config. Keep it clean, keep it mean, and for Wonderland's sake describe those faults. Visualize, JJ leanin' on a alarm painted Impala, Alice frustrated with vague alerts, the Hatter mixing message formats, and the White Rabbit hammering the acknowledge button. PS if all else fails, sacrifice a USB drive to the Niagara gods and try alarmdata.source.get, description. Sometimes Wonderland just works like that. To Alice's curious alarm adventure in Niagara Wonderland. One ordinary afternoon, Alice was checking her alarm messages when, poof! She fell through her console into Alarm Wonderland, where notifications appear and disappear like the Cheshire Cat. Oh my paws and whiskers, cried Alice. These alarms keep saying active fault but never explain what's actually wrong. The Mad Hatter's alarm tea party. At a wobbly table sat the Mad Hatter, pouring alarm messages from one teacup to another. Ha, he cackled. Source name? Alarm value? Why not the description too? He threw alarm tags at Alice like playing cards. The Cheshire Cat appeared upside down, his grin flashing %alarmdata.source, teehee, before vanishing, leaving only half a message floating in midair. The White Rabbit's panic. Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm late to acknowledge these, screamed the White Rabbit, tripping over alarm notifications. The Queen wants proper descriptions or off with our alarm privileges. The Queen of Hearts decree explain these alarms properly, roared the Queen, smashing a vague alert with her flamingo croquet mallet. Or I'll have your notifications for target practice. Alice's investigation down the alarm definition rabbit hole. Alice found 3 mysterious doors labeled, %source name %, too vague, %description locked in some versions, custom slot, just right. The caterpillar's wisdom. A sleepy caterpillar on a JACE blew smoke rings that formed code snippets. Really, alarming. Tweedledee and Tweedledum's BQL disaster. The twins were shouting, select description from somewhere. No, from somewhere else. Their queries returned nothing but errors. How Alice fixed her alarms. Drank the direct description potion. %alarmdata.source name %alarmdata.source.description Like reading the label on the drink me bottle, finally some clarity. 8. The custom slot cake added a description slot to her fault point. Used %alarmdata.source.slots.description Now the messages make sense, even to the dormouse. Played croquet with the Queen. Showed her the beautiful descriptive alarms. These actually tell me something, grumbled the Queen. The happy ending with descriptive alarms now working, the White Rabbit could acknowledge properly. The Cheshire Cat's messages stayed complete. Even the Jabberwocky knew what was broken. As Alice woke at her desk, she saw, boiler temperature high, main plant room 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The end. Unless someone disables descriptions, then we're back to Wonderland chaos. Silly pictures, Alice growing/shrinking between alarm messages, the caterpillar blowing code smoke rings, the Queen smashing vague alerts, and the White Rabbit trapped in an acknowledge loop. Next topic. Flex Robotic. While working in a JACE 8000, a window popped up stating data recovery service save limit exceeded. Consider excluding components from backup. I looked at the data recovery service but did not see where to choose which components should back up. Does anyone know where to configure which components to back up? Thanks. All right now. You done cranked up that JACE 8000 like it's race day at the track, and bam. A window pops up flash in bright red like nitrous on overload, data recovery service save limit exceeded. Consider excluding components from backup. Now hold up, playa. That message right there? That's like blowing an airbag at the line cause you loaded too much weight in the trunk. Let OLJJ the boss and the compressed air supercharged Impala pit crew break this down for ya race day style. Meet the crew, roll call inside the slammed Impala. Because in our world, seat placement matters, just like your bindings. Katrina Torque, front left seat, airbag suspension controller. She's keeping that JACE balanced. If there's too many components right in backup, she gonna slam that station to the floor, sayin', You don't need all that junk right in high. Lisette logs, back left, air pressure diagnostic sniffer. She sniffin' out every lil extra px file, history config, and oversized alarm class like she caught a whiff of burnt clutch. Girl, why you tryin' to back up the whole station and the Queen's Flamingo collection? Rosalie runtime, front right, compressed air supercharger throttle. She handles backup logic speed, and trust me she'll stall the whole block if one more bloated component tries to ride the logic express one misfired boolean, and boom we backfiring in the staging lanes. Karen Lee code, back right, backup mapping and BQL data navigator. She knows what's gettin' saved, what's hoggin' space, and how to eject it before your backup explodes. That logic ain't tight unless you know what's sittin' in your save slot. The problem, aka you overstuffed the trunk, boss. Your data recovery service is basically sayin', yo, you tryin' to back up everything. Ain't enough compressed air in the world to lift that station off the ground. Too many components set to backup equals true, and now your JACE ride-in lower than a frame dragon donk in a pothole parade. JJ slammed Impala fix-it plan. Let's lift the hood and get this thing tuned up like it's race weekend. Step 1, pop the hood. Go into, Services Platform Services Data Recovery Service. Now don't expect a shiny exclude this button, cause Tridium ain't that generous. This part's all about diggin' deep, like tunin' a carb by feel. Step 2, roll component by component just like airlines. Find a component you think don't need backing up, like some old test logic or unused PX file. Right-click the component. Click, Slot Sheet. Look for the backup slot. If it says true, that sucker's right in backup shotgun. Flip it to false. Rosalie says get off this boost line, you hoggin' the pressure. Step 3, use the airbag view, aka tree view walkthrough. Start from your station root folder. Then hover and check slot sheets manually. You'll find history configs, alarms, PXs, and mystery widgets you forgot were there. That's like running 4 compressors with no drain valve, whole system gonna burst. Step 4, restart the station. Let Katrina recalibrate the ride height. Once you cleaned up, do a fresh station service restart. That airbag system, aka your memory plus file count, gonna lift that JACE like it's floatin' on clouds. Karen Lee codes bonus BQL boost. Still confused who's riding backup in your station? Run this, select component from station where backup equals true. Like a magic nitrous fogger, it'll highlight every component clinging to your backup like it paid rent. Final pit row tips from JJ and the crew. Only backup station files and must-have logic. Skip them heavy history logs, alarm classes, and overloaded graphics. If it's just nice to have, Lisette says slap a sticky note on it and move on. Backup rookie warning signs, backed up everything just in case? Katrina already lowerin' the frame with a scowl. Didn't know things were being backed up at all? Karen Lee just rolled her eyes and flipped the BQL book shut. Fixed it by just rebooting the JACE? Rosalie's handing you the default settings drag racer sticker and it's in neon pink. Still confused? Lisette's air sniffin' your logic and sayin', smells like noob in the morning. So go ahead and lift that JACE clean, boss. Tune that backup config like you're settin' tire pressure before eliminations. And for the love of all things low and loud, document your damn backup config. Cause ain't nobody savin' you when that suspension pops and you got a JACE full of bloated backups draggin' the bumper at the starting line. Alice's chaotic backup adventure in Wonderland. Once upon a time, under the fizzing sky of Wonderland, Alice was deep inside the Mad Hatter 8000 control station, which some called a JACE 8000, but that's boring. She had just twisted a sparkly knob labeled "Do Not Turn Unless You Like Surprises," and poof. A glowing red pop-up jumped out like the Cheshire Cat after 6 cups of tea. Data recovery service save limit exceeded. Consider excluding components from backup. Goodness gracious, gasped Alice, blinking fast. What does that even mean? Suddenly, a puff of compressed marshmallow air hissed from the bushes and out-zoomed the Wonderland's supercharged airbag Impala, bouncing low, glowing gold, and powered by confusion and curiosity. Inside, 4 wildly wonderful chicas from Wonderland, riding low and thinking fast. Meet the Wonderland pit crew, each sat in their magical airbag seat, because seat position matters, especially in chaotic dreamland backup logic. Katrina Torque, front left, queen of bounce. She kept the whole car level, yelling, "Too much junk in the trunk. If your JACE got too full?" Boom, down goes the frame like Humpty Dumpty after lunch. "Alice," she warned, "you don't need to back up every single tea party and jam tart recipe. Be choosy. Lisette logs, back left, sniffer of silly stuff. She had a glittery air sniffing wand and sniffed out every little backup blooper. PX files. Alarm doodads. Queen's cake timer? Who told you to save all that? Darling, only back up what makes sense. You're storing cupcakes in the gas tank. Rosalie runtime, front right, zoom logic girl, she handled the air-powered logic boost. But if Alice added one more sleepy logic loop, bang, went the system. "That's it," shouted Rosalie. "No more mushroom-growing timers in backup." Karen Lee Code, back right, map maker of madness, she had a scroll of glowing BQL spells. With a flick, she shouted, "Select component from station where backup equals true." And poof. All the backup clingers glowed like Tweedledees forward in a thunderstorm. The problem, aka too many tarts in the trunk, the JACE Mad Hatter station had way too many things marked backup equals true. Like trying to fit the whole Queen's Garden into a teacup. It was dragging. It was sagging. The Red Queen even waved her flamingo and yelled, "Off with their backups." Alice's Fix-It Tea Party plan, Step 1, pop the teapot lid. Alice opened the magical cabinet, Services Platform Services Data Recovery Service. But there was no big friendly exclude this button. Just mystery and math. Step 2, 1 spoonful at a time. Alice right-clicked on random things in the station, clocks, buttons, singing flowers. Right-click a component. Open slot sheet. Look for backup. If it said true, Alice said, "Off the train, you silly jam timer," and set it to false. Step 3, walk the tree of chaos. She wandered the station's root folder like it was the forest of forgetting. Every alarm config and dancing graphic got checked. Do we really need a backup of the tea kettle's giggle sensor? No. Flip it off. Step 4, restart the Wonderland Whirlicar. Once she'd excluded all the fluff, she restarted the station. Katrina lifted the Impala higher than the caterpillar's hookah cloud. "Ride smooth now, sugar," said Katrina with a wink. Bonus from Karen Lee Code. Want to see all the backup hogs? Run this magical command, select component from station where backup equals true. They'll all light up like the Mad Hatter's birthday cake, which was actually a firework. Final tips from the tea drinking pit crew: backup what matters, your main logic, station files, and jam tart inventory. Skip the fluff history logs, clapping flowers, and singing doorknobs. Nice to have. Lisette says slap a sticky note on it and move along. Rookie Wonderland warnings, backing up everything? Katrina's frame is scraping the pavement in protest. Didn't know you were backing things up? Karen Lee just turned into a spreadsheet and sighed. Just rebooted the JACE to fix it? Rosalie gave you the neon pink panic button sticker. It glows with shame. Still confused? Lisette sniffed your config and said, "Smells like backup biscuits and no documentation." Moral of the story? If Alice learned one thing, it's this: just cause you can back it up doesn't mean you should. So, dear adventurer, document your backup config, pick what matters, and for the love of logic, don't save the entire tea party.